welcome to this Qi Gong routine for knee pain relief. Knee pain can be debilitating. Knee pain can have many different causes. Now, the knee is a very simple joint. Simple in the sense that it only moves the lower leg forwards and backwards. So when you compare it to your shoulder, shoulder rotates in many directions. When you think of the hips can rotate in many directions. The knee is a simple joint, forwards and backwards. Now it needs energy, it needs circulation of energy to move the joint. There are many different meridian lines around the knee, on the inside of the knee, and the outside of the knee and the back of the knee. And all these different meridians is what feeds the energy to the joint. Now in this routine we will work on strengthening the knees, strengthening the muscles around the knees, that gives stability in the knees. We will work on circulating the energy in and to the knees, and we work on flexibility, mobility in the knees. Now, with all these exercises, please always listen to your body. I will give a certain exercise, but we are all very different. We may have different knee issues, so you always want to listen. You need to adjust the movement, the exercise, if it does not work for you. Because if you work through the pain too much, it will be counterproductive. Now, knee pain can manifest in different ways. When there is an acute injury, you don't necessarily want to move the joint too much. What you then want to do is simply bring energy to the knees, for example, with the hands on the knees, which we will do in our exercise. When you deal with chronic pain, then it's a different story. You want to gently keep moving the joint, keep moving the knees, but just gently, to bring energy in and to keep the mobility and to keep some strength and stability. And you want to keep bringing some energy in. So with acute pain, don't move too much, just bring energy in, work with rubbing the hands, work with acupressure points. With chronic pain, gently keep moving and bring some energy in. Let's start to have the feet hip width apart. Let's start with an exercise called knocking at the door of life. Door of life is an acupressure point in the low back, in the kidney area. And we're going to knock on it, but we want to release that left heel. So let the movement come from the low belly. So you turn from your center. Let your arms be relaxed. Your arms start to knock on the low belly and the low back. This brings in more energy into your body. So we activate the energy that is stored in the low belly and the low back. Notice that my back heel comes off the floor. And that gives a little bit of softness in the knee. It gives openness in the ankle, it gives openness in the knee, it gives openness in the hip. And that helps for the internal energy to flow throughout the whole leg. Energy that is stagnant in your body, and now we're talking about legs and knees, energy that is stagnant in the legs and in the knees, that causes issues, that causes problems. So we can relieve stagnation by simply moving that part of the body. Slow it down. And obviously any of these exercises we're doing, you can do it as long as you like. I just give an example. You can simply pause the video and just keep going. And when you feel ready, you start it again and you continue with the exercise. Now bend the knees a little bit and bring your hands just above the knees. And simply squat down as far as you comfortably can. As I said before, with acute knee pain, maybe don't move too much, but with chronic pain, you simply want to squat down and come up. And you have your hands on your thighs for just a little bit of support. So it is a matter of dropping the butt down. We don't hinge forwards. The movement, the work is just done with the legs. This strengthens the muscles around the knees, calves, hamstrings, and quads. Just a gentle squatting down. hands, bring some more energy in the palms of the hands. Rubbing the hands. And then bring your hands on your knees and imagine that you're bringing golden healing energy into your knees. So the warmth that you generate in your palms, you now bring into your knees. And you can simply repeat it a couple of times, just according to how much time you have and how you feel. Let's do it one more time. Rubbing the hands, bring in some warmth. Just imagine your hands full of golden light, healing light. Bring that healing energy into your knees. Right there, in front of the knees. Wonderful. Let's come into a staggered stance. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot backward. Staggered stance is, there is space between the feet, sideways and front to back. So not one in front of the other, because that is not so easy to balance. So a little bit outwards and a little bit backwards. We're going to do a little bit of bouncing in the knees, and we slap the front knee on either side. As I mentioned at the start, we have meridian lines, rivers of energy that feed the energy in the knee, that feeds the knees, that brings circulation of energy in the knees. So when we tap on it, we activate the energy in these meridians. And so there will be more energy going to the knees, which is lovely to relieve knee pain. Just a little bounce in the knees, tapping inside and outside of that leg. Do it again, do it as long as you feel, as feels right for you. Okay, step forward, step backward to the other leg, now to the other knee. A little bounce in the knees. So we bring more energy through the bouncing, but also through the tapping. If any of these exercises don't feel right for you, please don't do them. And also, you don't have to do all the exercises in this routine. You can just pick and choose. All right. Getting back to an upwards position, and again, just squat down. Just squatting down, bring some energy in these knees, strengthening the muscles around the knees. Strong muscles help for the joint to be stable. If the muscles are not strong, then the joint will not be stable. That can add to pain in the joints. A little bit of squatting, going down and up and down and up. This squatting you can also do in a wider stance. Here again, just listen to your body. Just, through all these exercises, you might get more in tune with your body. You notice what your body feels, and you can work accordingly. So you can come a little wider stance. Make sure that your knees go over your feet, so your knees don't collapse inwards or turn outwards. Keep the spine upright. Just drop the butt downwards and upwards. Downwards and upwards. As you go down, make sure your heels are still on the floor. We don't go so far that the heels come off the floor. So it doesn't matter how far you go, as long as these heels stay on the floor. One more time. Walk the feet in a little bit. Now let's tap the front of the hips and then the inside of the knees, alternating. These meridian lines that I talked about, some of them run via the groin into the legs. This tends to be a little bit of a narrow area. And because it is a narrow area, the energy tends to get stagnant. Energy in meridian lines tends to get stagnant around joints, but also in this part where it is a little bit narrow. Like sometimes on the motorway, you know, when motorways are narrow, there's too much traffic, it gets congested. Well, it's the same in your body. So when we tap on it, we open these meridian lines. So let's tap on the inside of the hips, the front of the hips, and then the inside of the knees. So we bring energy in the knees and we open the front of the hips. You can also do a double tap on the inside of the knees. Time. Wonderful. Now let's tap the meridian lines downwards on the outside of the legs and upwards on the inside of the legs. So stand a little bit wider than hip width. Tap the lower back. Tap the buttocks with a flat hand. Tap down the inside of the legs all the way to your ankles. Tap up the outside of the legs all the way into the front of the hips. Outside of the hips. Roll back. So we are tapping on all these meridian lines that run through the legs. These meridian lines are open. Energy, like in a river, will flow freely and easily to clear away any blockages. Blockages create pain, discomfort, unease anywhere in your body. Let's do that one more time. Hips, with light loose fist, side of the hips. There are also a few seated exercises you can do. For some of you, standing might be too excruciating. When you have certain knee issues, standing might be too much. So you can also do a few seated exercises. Then bring in the chair. Let's just sit on the front of your seat. Feet hip width apart, feet are pointing forwards, knees are pointing forwards. You have the patella here. Under the patella you have the tendon that leads to the patella. Now on either side of the patella there is just a little indentation. We call them the eyes of the knees. So bring your fingers on these eyes of the knees and just make little circles. Just press and circle to bring some more energy into the knees. And then you can simply tap the inside and the outside. Once again, energizing the knees, bringing more energy in the knees by working on all these different pressure points. Here you can also just press and circle on the side of the knee and just a little bit below the knee. Just work your way around. There are a lot of different acupressure points. These are certain points on the meridian lines where the energy is more available, and when you press on them, it will have effect in other parts of the body, and here especially in the knees. And then you can bring both hands over the knee. Let's do the other side. Here again, do it as long as you can. Do it as long as is right for you. So patella, tendon of the patella, on either side, eyes of the knees, a little indentation. Bring your fingertips there, just press and circle. Press and circle. Step the knees inside and outside. And then work on all these different pressure points around the knee. So with your fingertips, just press and circle. At certain points, it might feel a little bit tender. That's often a point where the energy is blocked or where more energy is needed. And bring both hands over the knees and imagine healing golden light going into your entire knee. Feel or imagine the golden light swirling in your knee. Wonderful. Another lovely exercise is a leg swing. For a leg swing, it is helpful to stand on a little block, so that your standing foot is a little bit higher, and that makes it easier for the other foot, otherwise the other foot might touch the floor. You can hang on to the wall or the pole in this case. Make sure the foot of your standing leg is pointed forwards, and now simply swing the leg forwards and backwards. And as you swing your foot forwards, just flex your foot. So here we are opening up the hips, the hip, the knee, the ankle. And as I said before, energy gets stagnant, can get stagnant in these meridian lines. Meridian lines run through the whole leg. So we are opening up the hip, the knee, the ankle. Flex the ankle, flex your foot. As the leg swings forwards and backwards, it's simply a release. And we can change legs. Make sure you swing it forwards and backwards, not sideways. The foot you're standing on is pointed forwards. Flex your foot as it swings forwards. Here again, just do it for a certain amount of time that works for you. One more time. And just shake it out a little bit. Now, one of the things we're working on in our routine, as I mentioned at the start, is some flexibility and mobility. We can bring in more flexibility, mobility with knee circles. Different ways we can do it. We can keep the feet apart, place the hands on the knees, but for those of you who can't bend too much downwards with the hands on the knees, you can also have the hands here on the thighs. And then simply turn both knees in one direction. You can imagine still with your palms on your knees. It's not just there for support. You can keep imagining golden light going into your knees. Opening these joints. Turning the other direction. Another way to do it, step out a little bit wider than shoulder width, bring the hands on the knees and now turn them in opposite directions, so both inward and outward. Do this as long as feels comfortable for you. And then from here you can just bend forwards, release push your arms down towards the floor. You can bend your knees a little bit. And then bring your hands at your calves and simply give yourself a little massage. Just massage your calves, just up and down. Give them a little squeeze. And then when you come to the knees, just rub the knees. Like make little circles at the back of the legs, the back of the knees. And then you can rub the hamstrings up and down, increasing the energy flow through the hamstrings and into the knees. Then bring your hands on your knees, bend your knees a little bit and then roll up. Just gently roll up. Wonderful. Let's keep the feet hip width apart. Let's finish with a beautiful flow. Flow is a gentle movement where we combine the physical movement with our breath and with an intention. This one is called the fountain and relates to the water element. Have your hands with the back of the hands towards each other. Inhale, flow the hands up to collarbone level. Exhale, flow them out to the sides. They don't go above the head, they just stay here at shoulder level. As the hands come down, just glide the hips backwards a little bit. Turn the back of the hands towards each other. Inhale, float up. Exhale, float out to the sides. Inhale, feel that wave-like movement through the legs and out through the spine. Inhale, flow the hands up. Exhale, flow the hands down. Let that wave-like movement roll up the legs and out through the spine. Inhaling up. Just imagine you're pulling up, nurturing, nourishing, water-like energy throughout your whole body, but especially guided in your mind to your knees. Inhaling up, exhaling out to the side. Inhale, exhale. Feel that softness, feel that fluidity, feel that nourishing energy going into your knees and into your entire body. Let's do that one more time. Put both hands over your belly. Soften your knees, bend your knees a little bit. And feel that you store all that beautiful healing energy in your low belly. I hope this helps you with any kind of knee-related issues you may have. Thank you for joining me.